Hey everyone, so this is like my second part of my Max Factor new goodies kind of videos. So I did already film a video showing this guy here, which is the new whipped cream foundation that I'm wearing at the moment. So if you did miss that, I will leave a link to it below. It's really nice foundation. But the other bits now I have to show you are from the new Max Factor Wild collection. So the first products I have to show you from the collection are these guys here, and they're the Wild Shadow Pencils. So these are two-in-one gel shadows and liners. I have the most of the collection. There's 8 altogether. I'm just missing a pink one. The pink one called Untamed Pink. Now I will show you all the swatches of these and me applying it in a second. But just to give you an idea of how these swatch, this is the one that I have on in my waterline. It did say in the information that it is suitable for the waterline. This guy is called Fierce Lime number 10. So you can see there it has quite good colour payoff, and you will see in the swatches now in a sec that they all are quite light reflective. They are a little bit glittery. For that reason I don't absolutely love it in the waterline. I did pop it in my own waterline today. It didn't take long for it to migrate from the wettest part of the waterline, say the part closest to my eyeball, and into the inner corner of my eye. So it stayed, say, along where the hairs are, but it did move quite fast on the inner part. So I wouldn't necessarily love it for the waterline, but I love it as an eyeshadow base or even for a quick colouring on the eyelid. So this guy here is Bold Sapphire number 35. Which is a lovely kind of purpley blue, a sapphire blue. This one is Savage Silver, which is more like a gunmetal, to be honest, rather than a, like, it looks much lighter in the promo picture. This one is Caramel Rage, which you'll see me applying in 2 seconds. This one here is number 15, Vicious Moss. So this one is kind of a khaki, like a silver khaki colour, but it is another really nice one. One of the reasons as well that I think these, you'd have to be maybe a little bit careful if you are using them on your waterline, if you wear contacts, is that the minute kind of particles in them do seem to move a little bit, so you'd want to be kind of careful. This guy is Blue Ice Fury. And then you have the last one, which is Brazen Gold, which is just like a light yellowy gold. I applied number 5 Caramel Rage of the Wild Shadow Pencils here as my eyeshadow base. It actually went on really lovely and smooth, and it blended out really easily as well with the blending brush. I did find I needed to go back and forth a few times to get a good covering and a decent opacity, but besides that they're lovely to use on the eyes and they don't drag or hurt or pull the skin at all. And those guys are available, the whole collection is available in store, but the pencils are retailing for around $7.50 here in Ireland anyhow, and they're in Boots. That's where I saw them the last day. So then the next products the next part of the collection are the eyeshadows. So they're the Wild eyeshadow pots. I have had mixed-ish feelings about Max Factor eyeshadows in the past. I really liked their dip-in eyeshadows, which are these guys here. They're loose eyeshadows. I really like these. I think that they have phenomenal colour payoff. You can see that, that's lovely light gold. They are kind of like loose eyeshadow pigments, but I really like the applicator. I like everything about them. I've been a big fan of these. But I wasn't maybe as much of a fan of these guys. They aren't bad, you can work with them. I use these wet to get the best colour payoff with these, but they're very, very sheer otherwise. So these wouldn't necessarily be my favourite ones in the world. But these new ones are quite different altogether. They've got very, very good colour payoff, which you will see in the swatches now in a sec and when I apply them. But the colours themselves are quite impressive in that there's a really good selection of neutrals, and then you have your few brights as well. There are pictures of all the swatches on LetzMakeup.com over on the blog, so you can definitely go ahead over there and see them if you want to have a good look at these and have them a little bit clearer. And these can be used wet and dry as well. Now the texture of these do vary. Some are a little bit smoother than others. For instance, with this guy here, which is Pale Pebble, this is the highlight that I'm wearing. This one has a lovely smooth texture. It doesn't have a huge amount of bits in it. It's, you know, not a very heavy product, whereas this guy here, which is Defiant White, is a very bitty, glittery product. I have this on the inner corner. So this mightn't be to everyone's taste. This is the white that I used in my Masquerade makeup tutorial there for my last Halloween video, and it was brilliant for that. But it's very, very high shine. Now this would have a lot of fallout, whereas this one wouldn't. So it goes without saying in most eyeshadow collections. So there will be variations in the textures. But for the ones that are maybe a little bit more fallouty, like maybe this one here, Sapphire Rage, which is a beautiful blue. It's very strong, intense blue, kind of like fresh water maybe from MAC, but again there would be a little bit of fallout with it. So I would just say maybe obviously do your eyes first and do your foundation afterwards, even though the ones that I applied today over this foundation were fine. I'll run through them quickly. This one I love. This is Vicious Purple. This is a really, really, really pretty one. It's kind of like Stars and Rockets by MAC, but it is a little bit more intense in payoff, in opacity. Again, these are all quite glittery. They're all quite light reflective. I'd say that would be the only really downfall in the collection. It'd be nice if they threw in a couple of mattes just to have for your you know, for your crease work or whatever. This guy here is called Untamed Green. This is a lovely light, you know, lime green, very similar to your Fierce Lime one. So there are a few that would go well together. This guy here is called Turquoise Fury. This guy is Fierce Pink. So this would go well with that Untamed Pink that I didn't get from the eye pencils. Then there are a good few neutrals. So there are, is it 8 neutrals and 5 brights, which is a nice kind of mix. This guy here is Brazen Charcoal, which is a lovely gunmetal, so it would go well with the Savage Silver. We have Burnt Bark, which I have on my lids today. This one here, which is surprisingly lovely, this is Savage Rose. It goes on just really lovely light, kind of vintage rose colour, and I have that on my the inner section of my top lid. We have this lovely warm brown, which is Auburn Envy. Great for green eyes. You have the slightly deeper brown, which is Feral Brown. Again, it's a lovely warm one though, so great for green eyes. And then you have your darkest grey charcoaly colour, which has silver sparkles in it. And this one is called Ferocious Black. So I also used this in that Halloween tutorial as well, and it was great for the shading of the black around the outside of the mask. So I used the 101 Pale Pebble as my eyebrow highlight. I love this colour. It would be maybe a little bit more similar to Brulee or Shroom by MAC, not quite as light reflective as Shroom. This next colour, which is 65 Defiant White, is very bitty and quite light reflective, so I just kept that for the inner corner. You have to be careful not to overdo it and have it maybe stick to the concealer underneath your eye, but it is lovely if you work with it well. This one, number 25 Savage Rose, is one of my favourites. It's kind of like a pinker version of maybe All That Glitters by MAC. It's a really lovely brightening one, but not too obnoxiously pink. And then I used number 107 Burnt Bark on the rest of the lid then, just to have something a little bit deeper. There was nothing matte though to use into the crease, so I did use something else. And then to go over the Fierce Lime pencil, which I had on my waterline, I used the number 50 Untamed Green, which is a direct match for it. And this is a lovely pop of colour for the eye area if you're not kind of brave enough to use bright colour all over the eyes. I'd say the only downside of the eyeshadow pots really is that there's no mattes to go in along with the collection. I mean, it's not the biggest thing. You're going to have loads of mattes in your probably collection at home anyhow, but it would be nice to just have thrown 1 or 2 in just for, like I said, maybe crease work or whatever. The only gripe I'd have with them would be maybe the pot lid. The pot itself doesn't bother me. The lid is very loose. Like, you really have to tighten it very, very well because they just seem to loosen up very easily. I would prefer like a snap lid. But that's me just picking really. Apart from that, I think they're great. Maybe look out for the fallout a little bit, but you will get very good colour payoff. Just do your eyes before your foundation. I think they're lovely little pots, and they're $6.99 the recommended retail price in Ireland at the moment, and they are in Boots. And then the last product from the collection is this Wild Mega Volume. It's a water resistant volumizing mascara. So this, I love my Max Factor mascaras, like the Max Factor Masterpiece Max mascara is like my holy grail mascara. This one is even bigger, so when I say that, it is more of a volumizing one. It has a big fat brush, an hourglass brush. So I like these in that the longer brushes will really coat the hairs as you're going along, like they really get up between the hairs, and then the shorter bristles are the ones that will deposit the black onto them, so they do give quite good volume. I have 1 coat on at the moment and you'll see me applying it in 2 seconds. The only thing I'd do would be maybe to add a second coat once the first one is, probably do it before it's 100% dry, but there's no harm as long as you're careful. And just coating the tip, because I found it gave really good volume and really good coating at the base of the lashes. And you just need that second quick coat just to get the tips. And of course coating the tips will make it look even longer and, you know, more voluminous. So I didn't have any issues with this brush when it came to the top lashes. I actually quite liked it. I found that it deposited the colour without, or the product without it clumping. I did have to go over the lashes a good few times just to get it out, but I'd rather that rather than it go on too much too soon. And it gave a really lovely defined natural kind of look to the lashes, but still voluminous and with lift and curl. And I just thought it gave a really nice finish. But where I struggled a little bit was on the bottom lashes, because the bristles of the brush are just a little bit long. I did have to run my fingertip over the bottom lashes to make sure the clumps were taken away, and just be really careful then to finish them off. But I thought it gave a really lovely girly kind of dolly look to the eyes. So the only gripe really I'd have with this guy is that it's not perfect for the lower lashes. That's not something that would bother me too much. I'd usually always have a separate one for it. But it just, the brush being so big, it's not that you can't use it, it just means that there's a chance that you will get some messing on the skin underneath the lashes, particularly if you have short lashes. I have quite long lashes underneath, so I can get away with the slightly bigger brushes underneath or on my lower lash line. But this seems to be a lovely mascara. I'm really impressed with not only the volume, but it's given a really lovely lift and curl to the lashes. And I haven't tried out the water resistant properties of it, but it's not really something I'd really look for in a mascara. But those are those bits. So the whole collection, the mascara is $8.99, which I still think is a decent price for mascaras compared to, you know, some of the higher end mascaras which don't even work half as well. And I think this is a really, really nice mascara. They are all available in store at the moment, and I think it's a really nice collection. And it's maybe not the most like Christmas ready collection, but it's nice for autumn. I think there's are some lovely autumnal colours in there, and it's a nice addition to the Max Factor range as well. So I hope this was helpful. There will be loads of pictures and stuff and like swatches and all that on the blog. I'll be back with more of these kind of videos with a few other brands shortly, because I have a lot to kind of get through and show you of stuff, like I said, that has accumulated in the last month. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Thanks a million for watching. I'll chat to you all really soon. Slán!